So, ladies and gentlemen, previously we talked about Ken Dryden taking the 73-74 season off for the Montreal Canadiens, but we don't talk much about the quarterfinal series they had against the Rangers that pretty well convinced head office that needed Dryden back. Now, Michel Plasse and Wayne Thomas were the key goalies that season, but Bunny Larocque, which eventually ended up Dryden's backup in the 4 Stanley Cup victories in the mid to late 70s, he was picked by Montreal to lead him in the quarterfinal round against the Rangers. Now, all indications were that Montreal could have had a good chance to beat the Rangers in the series because not only did they have home ice advantage, they had a better goals against average in the regular season, and with 45 wins in the 1974 season, Montreal seemed to have a consistency that could beat the Rangers. Now, the big part of this series was that Montreal, even though they had home ice advantage, they had a hard time with the Rangers in the form. The Rangers, no matter what generation, played good at the form, and the first game was all New York as they won 4-1 on April 10th. Now, the next night, Montreal rebounded for a 4-1 victory, and the momentum continued in the third game in Madison Square Garden as Montreal won 4-2. But here's where it got bad because Larocque was giving up too many key goals in the games they won. Games they lost during the regular season, and this started in the playoffs. Game 4, Montreal scored 4 goals for their high total of the series, but lost 6-4. But the backbreaker, of course, ladies and gentlemen, was probably the biggest overtime loss for Montreal at the form of that decade, besides the Islanders game in 77. He lost 3-2 to the Rangers in the 5th game, sending the series back to New York for Game 6. Now, Montreal was under heavy pressure to extend it to a 7th game, but there was no luck as Montreal lost 5-2. Now, this series was kind of interesting. I tell you why. We all know Guy Lafleur became a superstar later on, but he was very ineffective in this series. He only had 1 assist in 6 games. It was Steve Shutt, of all people, who had a very, very interesting rookie season that he really showed his true colors in the playoffs with 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 points. Cornway had another great playoff with 5 goals. Henri Richard had 2 goals and 2 assists. Lemaire had 4 points, and Mavlich had 2 big goals for 3 points. But the problem is with Montreal, some of their key players and snipers. You look at Claude Rose didn't score in the series. Murray Wilson only got 1 goal. Lafleur didn't score. Lefley didn't score. Gainey didn't score. Lambert didn't score, and Roberts didn't score. So all these key players for over 2 lines for 6 games never even got a goal. But this was the start of the big 3 because Bowman decided to play Savard, Bouchard, Lapointe, and Robinson for the majority of the games. He never played a 5th defenseman, John Van Boxmeer, but they decided to put Jimmy Roberts on defense and right wing in some of the key games to put the opposition in confusion, but it didn't work. Now, goaltending in the playoffs, Larocque played 364 minutes, 4 of those minutes in overtime, and again with a 2.97 goals against average. Now, I was talking about the regular season, even though Wayne Thomas and Michel Plasse got the majority of their work. Late in the season, Bowman felt that Michel Larocque was the better option, and neither here nor there. I don't think Wayne Thomas could have done any better. Now, when I talk about Steve Shutt, we have to look at the statistics because it's quite interesting, because he only had 15 goals in the regular season that year, and he had a great total in the playoffs. So I think Steve Shutt next year he had 30 goals. But some of the key players from Montreal, Claude Rose was injured. Lambert hadn't turned the sniper that we knew he was going to give into. Tremblay and Riseborough hadn't arrived. but some of the key substitute players, like Dave Gardner, regular season, only had 1 goal in 31 games. And I think it would really hurt, too, depending a lot on Chuck Lefley to score a couple of goals. But like I said, 2 full lines in Montreal weren't producing in that playoffs, and it really showed heavy. Now, Montreal had finished second place in their division in that season, and they were to play the Maple Leafs. Not say we're going to play the Maple Leafs, but there was some question if the Maple Leafs could catch the Rangers in the standings, but a late season losing streak put a rematch. Would have been very interesting. The 1974 Canadiens against the Ranger. I mean, the Toronto would have been quite interesting. But both Mahovlich brothers combined for 67 goals that year, and but like I said, the playoffs are different things. For Rangers, the big ice service, and Montreal in New York, it really hurt them anyways. So in this latest playoff podcast, doing the Montreal Canadiens, thank you for listening. If you like to leave a comment, like, or subscribe, well, appreciate it. There's no monetization with my channel, so even if you listen, I don't get paid for it, nor will there be any ads on my site. It's free for all, say like The Prisoner. Well, not like the episode, but you know what I'm saying. A good free for all, not a free for all. Have a good evening. Bye.